Welcome to UNCAGED. Today we're speaking with Allyson Havener. Now, Allyson works at a very, very interesting company. It's called TrustRadius. She is the vice president of marketing for TrustRadius. And TrustRadius is the most trusted decisioning platform for B2B technology buyers. We'll be going into what's happening in the kind of ratings and reviews and I'd say trust building marketplace in a second. But before we get there, Allyson, tell us a little bit about you and your career.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm the VP of marketing at TrustRadius, and it's been a long journey here so far, but really fun. I actually am a Bay Area native, so I live in San Francisco. I went to UC Santa Cruz and didn't really go that far, except after college, I decided to move abroad to Dubai and become a professional ballerina out there. So I am a ballerina turned marketer when I came back to San Francisco. So it's been an interesting journey. And then I started my career in tech. So I started at a very small startup at the time in 2013 at a company called LiveRamp, which is in the ad tech industry. I was there as one of the 40th employees, and I was kind of hired as a Swiss Army knife, as I like to call myself sometimes. Just doing anything really that needed to be done. I did everything from some HR work, which probably was a little questionable, to recruiting, office management, the little bit of marketing that we had, which was updating our website, and one pagers. And so after about a year of that, we were acquired by a larger parent company, and we hired a VP of marketing who brought me on, and I started my career in field marketing. And that was a big focus for us because we really were focused on the enterprise. And so we wanted to have a very focused kind of field strategy, really partnering with sales, breaking into these large enterprise accounts. As we grew and scaled over the years, my career kind of followed the company. And so I was there for 8 years. I was the integrated marketing director. And so I pretty much owned everything except for product marketing and reported into the CMO. And then TrustRadius came knocking as, keeping your options open, looking at opportunities. And so,
well, look, LiveRamp is, for anybody in the media marketing world, is an incredible company, certainly one of the leaders in terms of understanding data, customer data, and what you can and cannot do with it. And that's obvious. And they've literally always been at the forefront of that space. But TrustRadius, what an interesting company. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to now at TrustRadius.
So when I was first introduced to TrustRadius, they were looking to essentially rebuild their entire marketing department. They had a really nice, established brand, but they were really looking to build the demand gen function. They wanted to increase their brand awareness and just really lead kind of a growth engine for the company. So I just saw it as another a really good challenge to take on the entire marketing department. And I feel in your career, you kind of get to a stage where you're either maintaining or you're building, or you feel you can reach that next step. And I like to be over my skis at all times. So I feel that's when I do my best work. And I knew that I would definitely be over my skis, but I could take on the challenge. So went over to TrustRadius to essentially rebuild the whole marketing department, which I've been doing over the last 2 years.
That's amazing. What a great role and what a great company to be part of. Now, it's been a really interesting time over the last couple of years in general, but certainly digital business reviews have evolved. Tell me a little bit about the marketplace today and kind of what you're seeing out there.
So one thing that we have at TrustRadius, one of the reasons that I actually took the job that I think is really interesting, is that we have an entire research department at TrustRadius. So we're constantly researching what makes buyers make a purchase decision, what influences them, what's their mindset. And on the flip side of that, we also look at we've surveyed all the vendors that are on TrustRadius and that we work with to really understand their kind of go-to-market strategies. And then we look at the disconnects, and then we try to repair the disconnect and bridge those gaps and kind of build that trust between the buyers and the sell side. And so I think one thing that's evolving is that buyers are, especially in this current economy, they've already been really skeptical. They're super risk adverse. And so this idea of like building trust and building a brand that your buyers want to align with is becoming so important. And so a lot of the work that we do at TrustRadius is essentially understanding that buyer mindset, creating a platform for vendors to then connect with that audience in an authentic way and build that brand trust.
Yeah. And I mean, it's certainly needed. And as you said, I mean, it's been a tricky, trust has taken a beating over the last 5-6 years. To build it up, we need to find new ways and new avenues to support that. So Allyson, I mean, a really interesting company you're part of, and clearly you're driving the marketing function and growing it. Tell me a little bit kind of why this is what floats your boat or gets you going in the morning. You've had such an amazing background. I tell you, I think you have probably a novel, Ballet in Dubai right there, or I can see it as a feature film. But, tell me a little bit about why you love doing what you do.
I really enjoy, I think, the art of kind of storytelling and connecting with others and kind of connecting on a level that you both have that kind of that mutual respect for each other. I think there's something that kind of gets me going is really the idea of kind of getting everybody bought in on that story or bought in on this like initiative that you're doing and moving everybody in the same direction towards a mutual goal and then achieving that goal. I think I'm very, very goal oriented. My team will tell you that we start every Monday with the priorities meeting. What are our goals that we're going to get done for the week? Everything I kind of break out incrementally because like it's that motivation for me and for the team. But I think it's really like is that what story are you telling, and are people bought into that, and can you all move like in the same direction? And I think that is just a marketer's job, but it's also, if you can do that really well, you're one of the kind of elite marketers out there. Because I think one of my favorite sayings moving into this industry is that everybody thinks they're a marketer, but only a few are. And I think that's kind of what motivates me, is that I want to be the real marketer.
Yeah, it's a great point. I look at marketing sometimes and I find myself, as someone who's spent a long time in the profession, it's gone through kind of a shift for sure as the media and marketing landscape has shifted. There used to be so much focus on really kind of distilling a message down to a 15 to 20 second video piece, right? That was a kind of a TV spot. And now you find yourselves in a world where it's not only a fragmented message, it's bringing that fragmented message together and then putting it into the context of kind of like a data-rich environment, right? So, I mean, you come from a data background, right? I mean, you've been at companies like LiveRamp. So, understanding marketing from the data perspective has really challenged, I think, some of the ecosystem plays that we would have known traditionally. I would say it's, over the last 10 years has fundamentally shifted the way I do marketing. And certainly I'd say sites like TrustRadius play a huge role in that shift. Well, with that, the world will continue to shift for sure, Allyson. I mean, we are living in interesting times. When you look forward here in 2023, going into 2024, what do you see on the horizon for TrustRadius and your team? And what are you most interested in?
I think we're really excited right now about the power that the customer voice has in marketing. So to your point, how we've had this big shift where the technology scene has just completely exploded. It's hard to cut through the noise. It's messages all start sounding the same. Everybody starts sounding the same. Everybody starts solving the same use cases. I think what we're really excited about is how important customer voices is and how that's going to define a brand and build that brand trust, is putting your customers front and center of everything that you do, getting their feedback, inserting that into your organization, and really truly being customer centric versus having that kind of be like a lip service. That's how we're leading our marketing organization. That's how we lead our organization. That's kind of in our DNA as TrustRadius. And we're excited to see that becoming the market standard versus a nice to have.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Allyson, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED today. I think there's probably going to be a ton of folks that want to know more about what TrustRadius does. If they wanted to reach you or find out more, where should they go?
You guys can reach me on LinkedIn. I'm super active on LinkedIn, so I definitely will reply. And just visit us at trustradius.com. Easy enough.
Yeah, and anyone that's looking for movie rights to, dancing in Dubai, I feel like I might have to get like my 1% on this one. So
Definitely.
All right, Allyson. Well, thank you so much for being on UNCAGED. We've been speaking with Allyson Havener. Allyson Havener is the Vice President of Marketing at TrustRadius, and TrustRadius is the most trusted decisioning platform for B2B technology buyers. TrustRadius has been one of the key companies in that ratings and review space, and it's really, I'd say, altered and changed the way customers approach building relationships in general, and certainly become a key part of that whole broader trust process. We've been talking to Allyson about that market and how she's working with her team to tell that story. Allyson, thank you again for being on UNCAGED, and we look forward to having you back.
Yeah, thank you.
Cheers.